Hey, YouTube family, it's Daughter of the Most High. Hope you had a good weekend. It's late Sunday night. I wanted to share the opposition that I've experienced since making the 3 videos warning once saved, always saved is not scriptural. So, the night that I made the 50-minute video, when I got done recording, and it was immediately once I pressed stop, there was a noise outside of my room, like a demonic noise, like a woo. Not exactly like that, but it was like that. Like kind of like a, I don't know. So I went out there and I rebuked all evil out of my house in the name of Jesus and casted whoever was here, the demons here, to the dry places. And played the shed blood over my house and station angels around me and my kids and my dogs. And I didn't think too much of it. I've experienced a lot of warfare when I was working at Teen Challenge, and that was my first 5 years of working in treatment. So I am well acquainted with warfare. And I know that when I like minister to a client, share information from the Word that helps them to get free of their addiction or of shame or whatever's going on, the enemy would, I got attacked so many times in those 5 years because I was very bold those 5 years. And I still miss that time and I still miss that ministry. I do. So I'm well acquainted though with the attacks of the enemy, the darts of the enemy, and as I've shared before on previous videos, that my daughter, when she was young and into her middle school years, she could see into the spirit realm when it was shown to her, and she saw one angel when she was real young, probably 5 or 6, and the rest of her, the remaining sights that she saw, it wasn't visions. It was these demons were in our house or in front of our house, or yeah. So the rest of it was demonic, and she saw the ways that they will show themselves. And I can share more about that in another video if anyone's interested. And as she got older into her teen years, that has since passed, and I don't think she's seen anything for a long time. She's 22 now. So I've also experienced like opposition and like, and I thought, and at first it's, it's kind of subtle at first, not the woo right after, not that, that's not subtle. But since then, there's been like certain things that have been kind of a, we're going to hit her where she hurts or where I have some wounding. And I'm not going to go into the details there, but that happened as well. I had a couple of rough days, and I haven't had a couple of rough days in 4.5 years since my daughter graduated from high school. And there was a lot right around that time because of her graduation and all of that. And then, and prior to that, there wasn't much in her high school years. So, but the years of suffering, I think I have post-traumatic stress disorder from the years of suffering. And I had a couple of rough days, and I remember I was thinking, how did I ever endure this as much as I did for as long as I did and keep any sanity? It's so difficult. So anyway, I had that revisited, and any of you that have trauma and then you are in a better season, you're feeling healed, you're feeling better, and all of a sudden you get triggered by something. There was 2 things, and it was about 2 weeks apart, And man, I got kind of flattened by it. It was, yeah, and I mean, I always function. I even did back in the awful days. I went to work, I've always taken care of my kids. I just pushed through. I'm not somebody that, can't do my day, but high levels of suffering while working with, addicts and alcoholics in the work that I do. So there was that. And so, and I'm going to tell you, I had to go turn my fan on because I have a thick sweatshirt on, and it's actually not very cold today. Our winter in Minnesota has been pretty mild, and so, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to tell you, it's pretty easy and clear to discover the enemy's pet doctrines. And so once saved, always saved is clearly his pet doctrine, because he has been coming against me. And I'm like, okay, at first I was kind of like, what's going on? This isn't my usual days. I don't feel like this, and today when I was walking my doggies, and there's a little bit of snow on the ground, so it's pretty out, and people have their Christmas lights up, and I said, God, please help me to feel better. I have suffered so many years in my life and suffered as a kid. I don't want today ruined. I need my weekends. And I was just feeling kind of down. And I always feel better when I get outside and when I'm walking my doggies, and we walk for about an hour. Yeah, and it was pretty nice out. It was probably 36 degrees. And that might sound cold to some of you others, but for Minnesota, that's pretty good. On December, what is it? 11th today. So, but the once saved, always saved is the enemy's one of his pet doctrines, because there's so many people that don't, work out their salvation with fear and trembling. They're comfortable thinking that it's all done for them and they can just kind of coast into heaven. And they need to hear it. And I don't know how many once saved, always saved, isn't scriptural type teachings are on YouTube. I don't know. So my encouragement for you is to share those videos on your channel so that this word can get out. You can share mine, but mine's in 3 parts, so that makes it a little harder. But, David Pawson has a good teaching. He says there's 80 verses. I was going to share that on mine, but there's so much information I forgot to share that. David Pawson, and if you're not familiar with him, he passed like a year or 2 ago, but he's on Streets of Gold. He had many, many, many wonderful teachings and YouTube videos, and so he's very solid in the Word. So yeah. Anyway, he has a teaching that's just over an hour long, I believe, and he said that he found 80 verses that refute the once saved, always saved doctrine. And he wrote that in a book, so you can look that book up if you want to read that. Otherwise, listen to his video or do both. People need this. Please share it. And, if the enemy comes against you, he comes against you. That's how it is. When you start getting deeper into your walk, you start experiencing the opposition again. And it's been a while because I work in secular treatment, and yeah, so I haven't had that much warfare. I've had a little bit, but I had a little bit more since I decided to make a video and study and go through the verses that support the refuting of once saved, always saved. And the reason why we share this is because we don't want the devil to win in anyone's life. And these people, and a lot of them won't even, pay attention to these kind of teachings or the teachings on adultery. I've shared that so many times. And the fact is they just turn a blind eye. They want to stay comfortable. I mean, comfort is like priority 1 for so many believers. And anybody that's on the narrow path is kind of over the comfort stage. of their Christian walk. They don't need the milk of the word on a daily basis. They want the meat of the word. They want, solid teaching, and they want to experience God, and they want to go deep, and they want to share His truth. And they don't want the devil to win in anyone's life. So I just encourage you to share that video, because I know that it's making the devil mad, and I like that. I like that. So anyway, that's all I have. I'm out of time. I'll see you soon, fam.